Yeah, all right. That's it for Pokemon Go.
Hajime Tabata has confirmed in an interview with Famitsu that roughly half of Final Fantasy 15 will be open world. The game, which is told over 16 chapters, is said to take between 40 and 50 hours, and the first half will be open world while the second half shifts into a linear path that progresses the story.
So?
And that's gonna...
So basically it's gonna be Final Fantasy 13, but reversed?
Yeah, that's what I thought. When I first heard it, it's like it's the exact reverse.
With the exception of FF12's hunt system, there has never been a Final Fantasy that's been open world at all. So I think that the fact that at the end of the game they want to have it a little more linear to finish the story is not going to be as bad of a problem as making it sound.
Except that's not what people are seeing, okay? Because I would consider something like Final Fantasy X open world because the world was always open to you. The reason that FF13 is looked down upon isn't the fact that it's linear, it's that it's so linear that after you visit each area, that's it. It's gone forever. There's nothing there. You walk through a hallway, you watch a cutscene. You walk through a hallway, you watch a cutscene. Now, if this just means you get access to all over the place at the beginning of the game, and then for the end of it, it turns more like FF10-ish, all right, fine, sure. I can get behind that. But if it's like once you pass a certain point in the game, then that's it. You don't get to go back. You only go forward to hit the end.
I doubt that will happen.
Oh, okay.
I can't see them cutting off all exploration.
Ah.
No, I can't see them cutting off all exploration after a game is completely open world at the beginning. I feel like it's because at the beginning you're on a fucking road trip where you can literally just take your car wherever the fuck you want, and then shit actually happens, like what happens in Kingsglaive, and you're like, oh shit, I actually have responsibilities now. I'm gonna go actually do what I'm supposed to be doing, and then you have to follow the story. It makes sense, and I think that anyone who's freaking out over this is just overreacting, and it's going to be fun.
What are you doing, Callie?
He's protecting himself from spoilers.
Oh, come on. That's not even there was no spoilers.
Okay,
By the way,
he was not taking a chance.
He was being proactive.
I heard Kingsglaive, and I was like, oh, crap.
Nika, don't mention any plot points from the anime or Kingsglaive. We have to keep that out for
I don't know how much he knows. Does he know there's a car?
Nothing. Well, I know there's a car, yeah.
Okay, because
Jesus.
Do you know the anime is completely garbage? It's literally the most boring anime I've ever watched.
Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
How many of it have you watched?
I've actually watched all 4 episodes.
No.
I have.
How long are they? Are they a half hour each?
They're like 20 minutes each, 15 minutes.
Really?
15, ish.
Yeah, they're good.
It's so boring. It's like a high school anime, except even more boring.
No, it's the backstory of how he met all of his friends. It's really good.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Oh, no.
So bad.
Oh, no.
It's
I'm actually hearing
not bad at all. It's so good. You're the only person I know that said that, Juxta.
Oh, no.
Chris. The only person. The only person.
I'm really worried. I think that...
Why does nobody take my opinion as anything?
Because your opinions are wrong, Nika!
Chris's opinion, who is known to be a troll over me, is a legitimate fan of this entire series. Come on!
That's the point! You can't be objective!
Yes.
I can't be because 13 was trash and I can be extremely objective about it.
But I like 13.
Here's the thing. Nika can't be objective, but he chooses not to be objective. So he's no better.
You're not wrong.
It's bad, and I had high expectations for 13. I actually watched that trailer when 13's trailer dropped multiple times. I was so stoked, and the game came out, and I cried. It was so bad. So
yeah, but I mean, I just my expectations are not even high for 15. Again, look, we've also talked about the additional delay that the game is going through, an additional 2 months in development to make sure that they don't have a gigantic day one patch. Which I really, again, I question this because, what can you do in 2 months that's really going to make that big of a difference? And why are you trying to avoid the day one patch? Is it just to avoid the negative sentiment around day one patches? Because what are you did you print up a bunch of discs and now you're throwing those discs away? What actually is happening? I don't understand what the necessity.
There was a typo on there.
I don't understand the necessity of it.
They don't have enough money to pay the the publishing or the making company, the manufacturing company, so they had to wait a couple months to bring in more Final Fantasy 14 revenue.
Oh my god, I picture literally they're getting ready to send it away for the discs and they hit compile and it failed to compile. And there's something's wrong, and now they gotta delay it while they go debug.
I mean, is this an indication of of a deeply troubled development.
No, not at all. The thing is that this game's already been in development for 10 years. If that's not indicative, 2 more months is not going to change anything.
Nika has a great point, because the last awesome major game by a big company that's known to deliver, that was in development for 10 years, Blizzard's Titan... Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That didn't... Yeah, they're dead.
I'm saying if you weren't disheartened by its original 10-year release date, 2 more months should not change your mind, is all I'm saying.
I'm just hoping those 10 months or those 2 months will turn it into a turn-based game.
I love you guys.
Shut up.
Oh, thank you, Aegis. Appreciate it.
That's a kind
I love
remark.
you,
We don't get
Aegis.
that very much.
Yeah. So
Send
look.
pics.
Jesus.
Don't send
Please
pics.
don't.
Do not encourage him. That is not necessary. That is not. You don't.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Not any kind of price that you have to pay for admission. Don't do that. Anyway, look.
PM me pics.
But what about the people who do, like, coming into this, who do look at that 10 years and wonder what took so long, and who aren't totally sold on this? I think.
But I mean, part of us already knows what took so long. It was originally going to be a different game. Development halted. They switched development teams completely, and they pretty much scrapped everything and started over. So there's a lot of explanation for it.
Nika, you're missing the point, right? Like, we knew that you were going to buy it. You reserved one of those ridiculous special editions on the first.
That came out, you were also
on the
on the
first
bandwagon,
moment.
though. You were on the hype bandwagon.
No, I
when
wasn't.
That,
No.
You were,
No.
Yes.
talked
Not-
on our show about how that reveal event changed your mind.
For wait a minute, hang on. I said I was convinced by the trailer and what they showed off at that event. Okay, I was never ever sold by the special edition nonsense.
Oh, okay.
Don't even start with that shit. Nika, like a sucker, opened her wallet the minute she heard about that and shelled out for it the first moment.
I'm a merch.
Oh, shots fired.
There is no way that you get me to buy something like that. There is no way that I invest that much in a game that I've not played, that sight unseen. No friggin' way.
Unless it comes with a dildo that looks like Big Boss.
I'm glad you added on to that, because it was really weird.
Hang on. Can you just try with the jokes a little bit? Like, that wasn't even related to the point of what we were talking about. It was like it wasn't even delivered with conviction.
That's not funny. You
can see the stall
That's
out.
never gonna be funny.
Yes, exactly. You can see the stall out.
His name.
God damn it. Look,
And clearly he wants a Dark Souls dildo. Thank you very much.
here's.
And I wasn't saying you were going to buy all the special stuff, but I remember after that event came out, you said that you were convinced that the game...
Yes, but the thing is that event, that entire event, the whole thing was structured around, we have a release date and we are revealing it. They made a big 1.5 hour production out of announcing when this shit was coming out, and then they have the gall to push it back. Like, for the people who are on the fence and convinced by that event, and not to say, look, I'm all in, but I'm like, all right, I'm kind of in. Pushing it back 2 months says a lot to me and makes me bail. I'm out again, and I don't mean to sound that fickle, because I am a Final Fantasy fan. I've been into it for the entirety of its existence, okay? But the fact of the matter is that they have not sold me that 15 is even going to be a serviceable game. They barely sold me on that very, very tightly scripted event, and then they lost me again when they showed off more of the gameplay and more of the dialogue and more of the voice acting out at E3. That made me check out even a little bit more, because that was subpar quality, and you know it. It was B- anime grade acting, and it was shitty. And I'm not expecting a whole lot out of this game anymore. And the fact of the matter is that them pushing it back 2 months, to me, says that this is in very, very big trouble.
I will say that I will give you the fact that because they made such a big deal out of the release date at the event, that bothers me a bit. Because you're right, it was structured
How do you
around
do that?
the release date.
How do you have
yeah.
your own event? And it's not like it was a streamed only event that they pulled a couple of devs over into a conference room and set up a GoPro to be able to do. This was in the Los Angeles concert hall. Like, this was in a big fucking concert hall to be able to make this announcement in front of both a live audience on stream and sitting in the audience. How do you do that? That is a bungling of epic proportions.
Have you watched the voice actor reveal trailer though? There's actually new footage and stuff in it. It's so good.
Bother me. It will give
So
me
good,
2 more
guys.
months
It's
to
so
try
good.
and save up for
Take
the
Nika's word
collector's
for it.
edition of
Oh my
the
God,
game.
Robbie! Seriously, shut the
Smiley
fuck up
face.
over donations. My God, how do you not have that open?
I did.
Apparently, you
Don't
didn't.
minimize
The
it.
sound might have been.
Oh,
I mean, like,
no, it was minimized. Sorry.
Don't minimize it.
when everyone's not talking, what do you think is happening? That's not a donation, jackass!
That was
Fucking idiots!
That was good though.
Oh my God,
Funny. No, but have you watched the voice actor reveal?
it's terrible. It's
Are you serious?
terrible.
Not bad at all. Like, it just came out like a week ago, the new one.
I'm gonna go back to what I said. It's B- grade anime voiceover nonsense. It's not even good voice acting. It's like the voice acting that I would expect out of a Fate anime. It's bad. It's not good.
What?
It's not good. Not impressed at all.
I think you actually watched it.
I did.
Like the new one that just came out?
Whatever they had at E3 that had look, all you need to know about the voice acting is the shit that these characters say when they're doing moves. Like, oh, like, what are some of the stupid, dumb catchphrases that they say? Like, you're gonna get iced, like when they use an ice spell or some shit like that.
Chill out.
Chill out. Yeah, like that stupid like,
I'm on fire.
yeah. I mean,
Zap.
That's not what was in the trailer, though. It was actually like cutscene stuff that was in
Oh, good. Cutscene stuff. Like, that's going to be the stuff that bothers me. No, it's going to be the stuff that happens in battle and during gameplay that irks the shit out of me. I mean, like, honestly, for a company like Square Enix, they could be doing a lot better with the voice acting talent that they hired. I honestly think that this is B- quality work. It really is.
It reminds me of Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, a lot of Final Fantasy X, and that was so early on in terms of voice acting that, some of that is pretty forgivable. But I mean, like, why? I don't understand why Square Enix tries to make their products so anime. I mean, they really are.
Because they're based in Japan.
They don't have to be, though. Like, they don't have to be that anime
Don't
inspired.
be so anime.
Right? I mean, is there some in between that we can find? Do all of our characters have to be fucking, like anime tropes? Does the one guy with glasses have to do the thing?
That's my favorite trope ever.
They have to.
It's not. It's awful.
It's so good.
It's patently awful,
He's my
and it
favorite.
makes me cringe. It makes my balls retract into my body because I want to be a fan of this shit. Is the thing is I want to like it and I want to be able to defend it, but like I feel like I can't. Some of it is so bad. What?
So you're making me very sad.
Very sad?
He's
Very
showing you
sad.
the reality of the situation. It is sad.
No,
It is.
you are making me sad because
Why? Because the
you
game's going to
have
be a
no faith.
clusterfuck?
It's not. I don't know where you're getting so like.
10 years! 10 years! 10 years!
10 more years.
I know, but everything you're saying is so negative. Where until like a couple of weeks ago, you had a fairly positive outlook. Now all of a sudden it's delayed, and you're like, nope, it's all going to
after
shit.
E3. Well, I mean, when you push back the release date after you make the biggest deal about it in the world, like that speaks volumes to me.
Wait, this game started making production or started on production when we started LBR?
Yeah.
bro.
They announced Versus 13 back then, but to be fair, it's not the
probably
same
started
team.
even
It's
longer than
barely any of the same resources. It's not the same.
Well, they just think at this point, like, we can't release this game because then
I don't know.
then LBR will outlast us.
They only ever switched out one character, Nika. The character models have always been the same because it's always been Noctis.
The scenery and environment and stuff, a lot of it's different. And like the battle effects and the battle system, it's all different.
I don't know. I think all of the things that I see in the trailer are things, even the Versus 13, I think that's all been pretty well represented throughout the various media.
Kingsglaive used some of the old resources. I noticed.
Yeah.
But the actual game, none of the gameplay and stuff has shown anything that was originally shown for Versus 13. Not really.
Seen.
So, I mean, but again,
that should... Honestly, that actually affects me more. That they've spent 10 years in development and how much of it was just trashed and thrown out.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, but what system were they even developing for back 10 years ago? Like, of course
PS3.
they had to throw a lot
announced
of
it at the
it
same
away.
time as 13.
Well, and let's be honest. Up converting stuff, textures and assets between PS3 and PS4 is much easier than it was in previous console iterations. Once we started moving to 3D environments, that's why we see so many HD remasters and stuff like that, because that stuff is really easy to upconvert cheaply and quickly. And
Not so much for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
well, they're redesigning the whole thing.
Yeah, they're remaking. That's not just an upscale. That's
Right.
That's the
high
joke, you
redo.
But
But you know what? No. For the PC version, they did upscale that and they put some new textures in there. So there's it again. It's not the most difficult thing, or it's not totally inconceivable to think that a lot of the assets that they had started to develop for Versus 13 did end up being used in the production of 15. Again, since we didn't really see a whole lot of character shifts, we didn't see a whole lot of setting shifts, we didn't see a whole like these are the same assets that we've been seeing for 10 years. So what makes you think that the 10 years thing doesn't matter? Because to me, all of those things, I know I'm being very negative, but all of those things to me add up to a lot of problems. And I mean, I got to look at it objectively. I can't, anymore, I can't just be a blind fan of this shit. I can't just ignore the stuff that when I see it in trailers makes me go, ugh. And again, the 2 months thing, man, it's ridiculous.
Nero, I'm with you, and the thing that's bothered me the most is I want to throw a little bit of information here at you, Nika, and then I want you to tell me what would happen if this does fail, right? Because there's a chance. I know that you have this steadfast.
No, I believe that it may not be great, but keep going.
Okay, so keep this in mind. Between Final Fantasy 4 and 5, there was 1 year. 5 and 6, 2 years. 6 to 7, 3 years. 7 to 8, 2 years. 9, 1 year. 10, 1 year. 12, 6 years. 13, 3 years. And now suddenly 10 years? And that's just since it was announced.
Yeah.
Since Final Fantasy 13, that was released in 2009. And
Right, but they did 13.2 and 13.3, which they focused all of their efforts into.
Yeah,
Okay,
what was
they focused
13.3's?
all of their efforts into them. The same way they're focusing all of their efforts into this.
I mean, yeah, it's not like their recent development patterns in history have been anything to really go by. I mean, if you look at that I think that spells more trouble than anything.
I think that the Square and Square Enix has been dead ever since they merged.
Well, I mean, we talked about that, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
But I mean, 13.3 came out 3 years ago. It's not that long of a gap in between the development cycles as it once was.
but we're talking about mainstream numbered Final Fantasy.
But that's how they treated those.
Okay, well that's how
We
they
weren't happy
treat
about it, but that's how they
guess
treated
what?
them.
That's not how the fans treat it. When we want the next Final Fantasy. We don't want Final Fantasy 10-2 or 13-3 or 11.
And think of how those games are. Think of how those games are received too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 10-2 was not a commercial success. I would say it took 5 years for really the bulk of Final Fantasy fans to figure out, oh, that's actually a decent game under there.
Underneath the fan service.
Yeah, exactly.
The awkwardness.
Yeah, and
creepiness.
same thing with any of the direct
boobiness.
any of the direct sequels that any of the Final Fantasy games have. Like 13-2, Lightning Returns. None of those are quite as well received as their initial main numbered Final Fantasy titles. And again,
wasn't 13-2 well received as the best out of the 3? I believe
The
that.
story was god awful.
I mean, maybe, but at the same time, I don't think it sold the best out of the 3. Do you? Like, I mean, if you look at its sales records, I definitely don't think that it moved more units. 13 had to have moved way more units.
13
Yeah.
did move.
Yeah.
But
So
I hear that the gameplay in 13-2 was way better out of
that very well may be, but if nobody's playing the game because sentiment says that sequels suck, then what's the point of making a sequel? Why not just make that another Final Fantasy
The
game?
longest part of making a game is the game engine, and they have had the White engine. And Crystal Tools engine failed during development.
So you turn the program on and then you just leave it going through your speakers.
Did it? What?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
so did.
Hail to the king, baby.
God.
Well, I don't know why the fuck it's going through my speakers.
Well, you should probably figure that out. Or you should show up to the studio, one of the two. I mean, if you were
Because it was
here,
his choice.
if you were here, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Just say it.
So what do you think about the game shifting into a linear perspective in the later parts of the game? That, like, because some people were kind of butthurt about that, but like
I'm a little bit ambivalent about that.
that for me is
It just
kind of
depends
standard
on what
protocol.
it means. It depends. Like, I mean, even FF10 after a certain, in most games after a certain point are like, okay, like even in The Witcher, they're like, all right, from here on out, you can't go back. If you have any side quests, do them now. Like, it tells you in a big pop-up box. Like, the second, the last leg of the game is a point of no return.
But with the last leg of the game part, that's fine. Games do that all the time.
Right.
So long as this linearness isn't like it was in FF13, I will be okay with it. But the idea that here's all this stuff that we've designed, but now you can never, ever, ever, ever go back to it.
No, I don't think
Did
that
they
in
say
this
that?
day and age they would spend. I don't think they would spend this much time in this day and age on a game of this grand scale. I think it'll become linear, and then once you beat the game, you'll be able to go back and do all the extra side quests and explore the entire world again. Absolutely.
I hope so, but every time we give them the benefit of the doubt,
We get doubted on. Wait.
Well, no, I
I can't see them shutting off the entire. Like, you beat the game and you can't even go back without restarting it to explore the world. There's no way.
And also, it's not like the last leg. It's half the game is what they
I mean,
said.
did they say it was 50-50?
I mean,
yeah.
So that's not like a leg.
Said
That's
by
like the
half.
whole torso. That's like starting at the dick and then going to the feet, man.
I kind of see it like Memoria or.
As long as there's still side quests and things along the way that take you out of this narrow path that literally even 13's dungeons were just a straight line. As long as it's not like that and there's still ways to explore the area that you're in, even if you can't, go back to where you were before, which also makes sense because, once I don't want to say too much, but once the things happen, well, Callie's here, it's not really possible to go back to that area, so it makes sense. Like, story-wise, you physically can't go back to that area.
I'm not nearly as concerned about that story as I am concerned about this growing monstrous DLC that seems to be planned for this game, because they're saying that it's going to have how many different pieces of DLC? And only some of them are covered by the season pass, others aren't.
that's ridiculous.
This is getting
ridiculous.
this is getting crazy.
Like, is it supposed to be extra scenarios and story, or is it side stuff? Like, what is it?
I don't think that they've even
They haven't said
specified.
anything. Some of them don't even have titles yet.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Okay,
but
all
they've.
right,
But
DLC
hold on.
6,
I'll
the
hold
expansion.
out on that judgment for that aspect.
I mean, that just seems like nickel and diming, and not only that, but I think that you know, a lot of these DLC features are probably going to feel like core game features that they've stripped out to sell to you. And the fact that keeps happening over and over and over again in AAA development is something that's honestly making my stomach turn.
You know,
that's not an SE exclusive, Sin. That is everyone.
Yes, you know, and that's the thing, is that it's hard to hold Square Enix accountable for that alone. Like they're definitely not, and I can't even blame them for doing what makes sense in the market right now. But I'm telling you that this you know, these growing DLC campaigns that strip core features out of your game. There's only so long that your consumer base is willing to put up with this shit. Really, that's it. I mean, you know, and I mean, we're going to have to move off of